Jay-Z and Roc-A-Fella go hand in hand, but what if I told you things could have been different? What if I told you if things were different, we would have known Jay-Z for his business acumen than being a rapper? I know it's hard to believe, but as time goes on, we've already seen that Jay-Z is turning into the business mogul he's always wanted to be. But this could have happened way sooner. How? Sit back, drop a sub, and let me tell you how Jay-Z could have been the greatest CEO ever.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V.
From the early 90s to the late 2000s, Jay-Z had an amazing career, and like any artist with his track record, he could have called it quits. And that's exactly what Jay-Z intended to do. That's why in 2004, Jay-Z decided to hang up the boots and walk into the sunset. But while Jay-Z would want to just fade into the sunset, life had something different in store for him. You see, with all his years of knowledge and connections, the music industry would be crazy to let Jay-Z go away. Jay-Z had become a valuable commodity, and with his interest in business, any record label would be lucky to have Jay-Z. And L.A. Reid knew that. That's why when Def Jam acquired 50% stake in Roc-A-Fella Records, he decided that the game wasn't ready for Jay-Z to hang up his boots, making him CEO of Def Jam Records. Jay-Z truly has become a businessman. This looked like a match made in heaven. Hip-hop legend, now record label CEO. Who better to run a music record label than a former multi-platinum record artist? And with all that knowledge he acquired negotiating on the block, he can use it in the conference room. So you would think this would be the story of how Jay-Z and Def Jam took over the hip-hop industry. And his track record at Roc-A-Fella Records will let you to believe that. But if there's one thing you need to know about Jay-Z, is that Jay-Z always comes first. And soon everyone at Def Jam will learn who's Jay-Z's top priority is. You could say rapper DMX was the first one to figure this out. You see, DMX used to be signed to Def Jam, but once Jay-Z took over, his time there came to an halt. But now you may be asking yourself, why? Was it the pay? He couldn't come to an agreement with a new contract? What was it? Well, the problem wasn't what, but who. And the who in question is Jay-Z, who DMX ultimately stated for being the reason why he left Def Jam. He would go on to tell articles that Jay-Z has no heart, that he's only motivated by money. But are you surprised? It's all about hitting those margins with Jay-Z, either on the block or on the chart. So it would be no surprise that if you're not doing well, that you'll be shelved, especially this being the norm in other record labels. So can you really blame Jay-Z for not promoting DMX if he wasn't performing? Well, what if nobody was performing? Because during that time, LL Cool J went on an interview and he said that no one was being promoted at Def Jam. And while you can quickly say cap on this because Kanye was under Def Jam at the time and he was being heavily promoted, you gotta realize that there were other rappers on this label who weren't getting promoted. Rappers like Method Man, Ludacris, even Fabulous weren't being promoted at the time, stated LL Cool J. And he might be right, because under Jay-Z's reign of Def Jam, no artist went platinum. Well, that's not completely true. One artist managed to do pretty well for themselves during this time. You wanna guess who it was? That's right, the Jigga Man himself, Ho, managing to get not just one, but two albums to the peak of the Billboard, Kingdom Come and American Gangster. These two albums got pushed like that stuff he was pushing in the 80s. But hold on a second, wasn't Jay-Z retired? Well, if you were to ask Jay-Z, he still was. But if you were to ask every artist on Def Jam whose projects got delayed or snubbed while Hov was cooking up this project, they would say different. But we gotta be fair, it wasn't just Jay-Z being an egotistical maniac. During this time, the internet was coming out of its infancy, and with applications like Napster and LimeWire, the music industry was in shambles with piracy. Why would I go buy an album when I can just download it at my crib? Was the mindset of many teens and young adults at the time, especially when they can listen to the album days or even weeks in advance for free? You must be crazy to think I was gonna drop 15 on an album back then. So it's pretty easy to see why sales were down as a whole. But let's be honest, him promoting and making music did not help the problem. However, we gotta be fair and we gotta give it to Jay-Z, who played a major role in launching not just the career of Neo, but also the career of Rihanna. And we all know how big Rihanna is. So there was some positive things that happened while Jay-Z ran Def Jam, but the positive does not outweigh the negative. So flash forward 3 years and it seems the only artist that gained substantial benefit of Jay-Z running Def Jam was Jay-Z. But what happened after he stepped down from being CEO of Def Jam? Well, he officially came out of retirement and dropped the Blueprint 3, which not just only went #1, but helped him unlock the achievement of having the most #1 albums on the Billboard Hot 200 that was previously held by Elvis Presley. But just think about it, at one point Jay-Z could have been a true Roc-A-Fella. Not only would he be making the music, but he would also promote and sell the music as well. He could have had his own monopoly. And while he's trying to do a similar thing now with Roc-A-Fella and Roc Nation, it could have happened a bit earlier. So do you think it was all worth it at the end, or we were just living through Jay-Z's villain arc? But you know what artist is currently going through their villain arc? The artist formerly known as Kanye West, who's had a dramatic shift from the backpacking days of his early career. Don't know what I'm talking about? Just press the video on the screen. But I'm out. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.